I recently got back from Los Angeles where I went to the Entertainment Experience Evolution. This is a conference about retail entertainment. The organizers of the conference, FACE Conference Group, which is a division of France Media, worked with me to set up some interviews with some people at the conference, and this first one is really cool. This is Bucky Mabe. He's CEO of FACE Amusement Group. FACE owns and operates a number of family entertainment centers, including downtown Flavortown, with food celebrity Guy Fieri. Bucky told me about the history of his family's amusement and entertainment business and their expansion strategy with this new concept. They recently purchased Myrtle Beach Mall and are redeveloping it with downtown Flavortown as a new anchor of the mall. So here's my conversation with Bucky Mabe. You're listening to Where We Buy. It's the show where we talk with retail experts and we visit the places where we buy. My name is James Cook. I research retail and real estate for JLL.
My name is Bucky Mabe, and I'm the owner and CEO of FACE Amusement Group. We design, build, own, and operate entertainment facilities. We started mainly around the arcade business and very, very seasoned in that business. We do a lot of concept mainly around amusement, entertainment, and food and beverage now.
You've been around, FACE has been around for a while. Am I right? It was started by your father?
Yeah, my father was a school teacher and a basketball coach. And back in the early 80s, he decided to actually buy a coin-operated machine. And
so it's just like, okay, I have to ask. Do you know what machine it was?
Well, it's there's a few things. One, he was working in the summertime in Cherokee, North Carolina, just trying to make extra money as a concession stand operator, and he decided to somehow figure out how to get a old traveling skee ball machine, like the big ones, and somehow he was able to do it. It cost more than his house did at that time, but he was able to get it on a revenue share and just kind of get it going. And you know, it really went amazing. And one thing went to another. I think Space Invaders was like his first. Right. And then,
oh my gosh.
You know, I was really young when he started. I was brought up in that business. You know, I'm blessed to be brought up by an entrepreneur because, you know, I didn't know any difference. You know, I thought everybody's parents went out and bought video games and put them out. You know, I didn't realize that. So that was just my normal day of life. So a second generation, he started in the early 80s. We started getting a lot of different operations over the years. I started another business with one of my business partners, Mark Larkey, and we started that when I was in high school, and it was around the same thing. We were doing what we call amusement routes, and we would put like crane machines in stores and do revenue shares and stuff like that.
And so was your job to go around and collect the quarters?
Well, it was at first, for sure. We had to get the location. We had to set the location. We had to fill it, collect it, you know, and do everything. And then after a while, we were able to make enough money where we could hire people to do that. But during high school and college, we operated all the way from Florida to Northern Ohio, like a route. So it was crazy.
That's one route.
Yeah, it was a lot of different moving pieces. But so that kind of got me into the business there. And so when I graduated college in 2001, we merged with my dad's company. At that point, we were just machine providers. Like, we did revenue shares. So, for instance, if you owned a building, I would bring arcade machines and set it in your building, and we would split it 50-50. And so we never had to deal with the public. We never had to do anything. And we were really good at that and at what we did. And we had several clients, like we had Ripley's, believe it or not, we had Harrah's, a lot of different places. But, you know, we would go into a lot of these situations, and after we get a 3-year contract, after 3 years, it would run out. You know, the contract would run out, and they would be like, oh, well, we know how to do it now, so we're going to do it ourselves. So that didn't work out well for a business plan for us. So we decided at that point, this was like probably 2003, 2004. we decided we needed to buy our own facility and start operating and owning our own facilities. So we bought one, in 2003, 2004, and then worked on that for several years, and then just, started adding one. We added one around 2008, and then we add another one. And then we started getting a lot of different operations. So 2013 comes around, and we had several different new locations. And I wanted to bring everybody under our umbrella, of our core beliefs, our mission, and our values. And we were all kind of just spread out. So we rebranded in 2013 into what's called FACE Amusement. And FACE is an acronym for Faith, Attitude, Consistency, and Excellence. And our mission is to create fun experiences and loyalty. Very simple. I mean, and it's really hard to be simple, by the way. I wanted to keep everything 5 words or less on everything. So
that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, and we really live by those core values. So when we talk about faith, it's believing in one another is our definition. So how you really believe, it can be a religious faith also, but in our sense of it, it's more, it's more than trust. It's faith in one another that we have. So if we believe in one another, we feel like we can really do whatever we need to do. Attitude, we just want people that are responding positively, regardless of circumstance. Consistency is doing what is expected every day. And excellence is just pursuing my personal best. So we feel like if we have people on our team that can do those 4 things, then kind of the sky's the limit, And so we rebranded in 2013, and we've really grown exponential from there for the past 12 years.
So you have a number of concepts, a number of different family entertainment centers, and then another cool concept I want to get to next. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the family entertainment centers. Are each one branded differently?
Yeah, most of them are. We have a few that are branded together, but most of them are branded separately, and they're all in tourist markets throughout the Southeast. So our niche has always been with the tourist crowd. And so we started in that business in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Tennessee market, which is a really, really good market for us. We have a very big presence there. We also operate in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in Branson, Missouri, Destin, Florida, and Orange Beach, Alabama, a few places like that. So, but all been around, most of them are really arcade based. So we're really big in that. Arcade City is one of our brands that we do. We have 3 different arcade cities. That brand, I would love to just do that brand because it's a great brand, but we can only go in places that are extremely high foot traffic, and we don't do any food and beverage. We don't do anything. We go where food and beverage is, and we just pull in off the foot traffic. And
so you're a classic arcade. Like I remembered, when they didn't have food and it wasn't Dave and Buster's with all this stuff.
Absolutely. And it's a very higher end experience. Everybody thinks of like the dark, dingy arcades from way back in the day. And, with us, that would only work in certain markets. In tourist markets where you have transient traffic and people are looking for something to do. In a local market, that you can never pull that off. So it's not really, you can't build a business around that, but it's been a great thing for us just to allow us to really get started in our overall growth. So
that's awesome. And I think your most high profile concept then is Downtown Flavortown with celebrity chef Guy Fieri. How did you come up with connecting with him? Who reached out to who? I want to know details. Did you pick up the phone and say, Guy, I got a plan for you, buddy?
I wish it was that easy, but it's weird how things happen in life. Just one thing happens and leads to another thing and leads to another thing. But we had always wanted to do a family entertainment center that had good food, and we knew the fun part. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing and the bad thing about the brands that were before us, like a Dave & Buster's and a Chuck E. Cheese, they're great brands. I'm not saying anything bad about Dave & Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese because they set the stage for a lot of people in the industry. But at the same time, they always had a black eye towards the food. You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't go there to eat. You know what I'm saying? So anything we looked at doing from a food standpoint, we were like, we could have the best chef in the world in the back and it be a bowling alley and arcade and people are going to be like, well, that's not going to be any good. Right. So we were like, how do we flip this script without it's taken 15 years to build a brand, of doing that? And so through a series of events, we were introduced to the COO then, or CEO still, of Guy. And it was introduced actually by the developer of where we operate our first downtown Flavortown. And they were just wanting to do a regular restaurant in that area. And we started thinking about it, and 3 or 4 weeks into it, I was like, we should look at bringing the restaurant in and doing the family entertainment center and just do it, because there's no other celebrity chefs that has the fun persona that could pull that off. I can't think of anybody. This was pre-COVID. This was like 2019 is when we first started really going after it. And we pitched it, and Guy liked it. And he was like, let's do it. And so we started working on it, and our plans were set to open. We're set to start in March of 2020, and we know what happened there. So we kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit there, but which actually ended up being a blessing in disguise, because we changed all the design and everything during that year that we set that we had pause there in COVID, which the concept wouldn't be what it is today without that. So looking at it from the positive side, that was a good thing for us. But it's been a cool relationship.
So it's a restaurant adjoined to a family entertainment center. Tell me a little bit about like square footage.
Yeah. So the original one we have in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee is 43,000 square feet. And we've got 350 seat restaurant, plus not including all the bar area and all the other different seating. We have duck pin bowling. We have 10,000 square foot arcade. We have a tiki bar, and it's all kind of brought in a much higher end way, just with a great feel. Everybody that goes to our places always says, it just feels really good in here. So that was what our initial plan was just to do that. And it's been very interesting, because when you open a new concept, you don't really know how the customers are going to react. You hope, you have all these goals and you have projections and all that, but is it really going to come to fruition the way you wanted it to? For us, what's very interesting is the food portion of this. What I was talking about earlier with a black eye in the family entertainment center, generally people don't go for the food, and what we were finding here is people were going for the food. You know what I'm saying? So we're bringing in a totally different demographic than, let's say, a Dave & Buster's, because, your grandparents aren't going to go to a Dave & Buster's without their grandkids and eat, you know what I'm saying? But they're coming to our place, So we're getting a much more diverse demographic in our place. And, and we're still able to monetize the amusement side, which is a much more profitable side for us. And the revenue split's about a 60-40 split between food and beverage and other, meaning duck pin bowling and arcade. So
get them in with the food, and then, get them to go play games afterwards and do all that. Yep. The menu, because Guy's got a bunch of other concepts. Did you just take some menu items he'd already developed, translate them, or what was that process? Well,
we worked specifically with his team, and there's some core items that we brought that
the nachos one, right?
Yeah.
That's what's it called? Trash
can nachos.
Trash can nachos. Those are always, everybody talks about them.
Yep. And that's our number one seller. It's, and it's experience. Like, it comes out in a small trash can, you pull it up and it falls over, and it's people are videoing and Instagramming and all that. So it's an experience, and it's, and it's good. And that's, like I said, that's our number one item overall for sure. And that's a big hit for him nationwide.
And so beyond that, did his team, though, was the ones that develop it, and it's stuff that he has oversight on and all that?
Yeah. So we work with his team, to kind of come up with our market, and with us being such a big concept, they've done a lot of custom things for us. He has a ton of different restaurants throughout the nation, but, ours is kind of unique. So it has, but we sell a lot of burgers. But they're, like the mac and cheese burger that he sells, he won like an award for. We sell a lot of those, very heavy, big filling, but a lot of people order it and it's very good. And so we sell a lot of those, a lot of barbecue. We've got ribs on the menu. We've got this fettuccine Alfredo, which is a very good dish for him. So it's a very diverse group. It's just not your normal FEC food, I guess.
That's great. And so you've got the one location in Pigeon Forge, and you announced another one, right?
Yeah. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we're opening our second one, and it's under construction right now. We're not saying a time when we're for sure opening, but it'll be within the next year. We're pushing that one. That'll be a little bit larger. It'll be 50,000 square feet. We added a few things here and there. It has a very similar feel to the original one, but just, after your first one, you always have some stuff. You're like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. So
as that one comes to fruition, are you already thinking about, hey, let's do another one? Or are you going to take it slow? Do you have any growth thoughts?
Yeah. We're looking at expanding, and I'm not looking at doing tons. Like, I'm not looking at doing 10 in a year or something like that. We're fine doing one a year, is kind of our goal after this. And, and we're privately funded. We're not through a private equity or anything like that. So we're just growing at our pace. As we, it's really about our team is really the growth part, because without having the right team, I don't want to open. You know what I'm saying? Because that takes the fun out of it, and it doesn't give our guests a good experience. So really it's more about how quick we can get the team ready to open another one, more so than it is when we can open another one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to do it right. So you got that kind of growth plan for downtown Flavortown. Any of the other concepts, do you want to add more of those as well?
We would love to add more and more of our arcade concepts wherever we can. Like I said, we generally like to have 5 to 10 million visitors on foot, like walking by us, and generally with the tourist mindset, so there's just not a whole lot of places to go to that, but we've got our eyes open for anything that would pop up.
Yeah. So I have a very specific sense of, you say Pigeon Forge, Branson, Myrtle Beach. I get the perfect sense of the kind of market. For you, is there an opportunity to kind of break out of that mold? I think about maybe, I don't know, like Las Vegas, much more large foot traffic, but also maybe a different customer.
Yeah. We've been in the Southeast, a little bit the Midwest there in Missouri, but that's kind of been our bread and butter. And so, but other tourist markets throughout the U.S. we could look at. We just want to make sure we know the market when we go there, and try to get the right location, and once again get the right people. I mean, that's so from a team member standpoint. So especially with the downtown Flavortown brand, there's a lot of opportunities out there that we're looking to pursue.
For your existing 2 locations, are those both in shopping centers?
The Pigeon Forge location is in a shopping center called Mountain Mile, and it's a redeveloped center by Dixon Greenwood, which is he redeveloped that, and we were one of his anchor tenants there. They also have a Nike and a REI and stuff like that there also. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting, the one in Myrtle Beach, because I've got a theory on retail in general, and we're developers also. So what we did in Myrtle Beach was this: we actually there's a 60-acre tract there that was an old mall that has a great Bass Pro as an anchor, and the previous people were demoling it and were going to tear it down and everything, and it went through COVID and anyways. So on the other side of that, we ended up purchasing the whole mall, and we've got a strategy that we can go into these undervalued centers, buy this, tenant with our concepts, and then be able to bring value and redevelop. Because, most people have a very tough time getting that first anchor to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with us controlling that anchor and believing in what we're doing, and we have a great co-anchor there with Bass Pro.
Yeah.
So we're doing a rather large redevelopment project that I'm leading there. And, it's an experiment for me. I've always had this in the back of my mind, because we've always been very actively involved with real estate too. But so we'll see. But I'm really excited about that.
Well, Bucky, you're really surprising me now, because I didn't know we were going to get into mall redevelopment, because this is another topic that we hit a lot on this show.
Yeah.
And there are many different theories about what to do with some of these malls. So you purchased the mall. You're going to be one new anchor, Bass Pro, by the way, perfect for that as a compliment. Tell me a little bit more about what you're going to do to redevelop the rest of the mall to attract those other tenants.
Well, okay. This is, you might think I'm crazy.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
But I've always been kind of a contrarian in general. But, for me, when I look at the indoor mall, at first when we bought it, we were like, we're going to tear this down and we'll leave some of the big boxes and we're going to redevelop it into, an outdoor lifestyle center that, you can do. And I started thinking through it. And the guy that did Mountain Mile, Dixon, is also my partner in this deal. And I started talking to him and I was like, I just don't know that the indoor mall is as dead as people say it is. I think what's dead is the way it feels inside the indoor mall that people hate. You know what I'm saying?
100% agree.
And so there's all this real estate, all this value that we were looking at tearing down. And I was like, what can we do to bring the feeling? Because everything feels like it did when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, indoor, and from a major mall developer, I know how it works. They've got rents coming in. They can't go and do all this. There's only so much they can do as far as rehabbing malls and stuff like that. But in the situation we're in, I feel like we're in a very unique time. I feel like right now, between technology and AI and real estate, which I know is a crazy kind of combination of bringing everything in, but we're looking at doing a large LED type of show throughout the main part of the mall and trying to make it have a new feel that nobody's really experienced. You have some in Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you've got it there in Fremont Street, but Fremont Street was done 7-8 years ago. The technology from 7-8 years ago to now, first off, is about 10 times cheaper and it's about 10 times better. You know what I'm saying? And then you have stuff, when you go to Venetian, you go to places like that, it just feels good in there. It's like a sunny day all the time. And so we were talking, we're like, the way AI technology and the costs has came to a point, we're wanting to do this and see if we can just make it have a totally unique feel compared to everywhere else. So, like I said, it might be the craziest thing we've ever done, but we're working on it and we're ready to start moving down that direction. The downtown Flavortown is the first phase of that, and then we're going to go into that right after.
I'm so glad we had a chance to talk because I didn't know about any of this. So that's so cool. Yeah. And I'm a huge, and people who listen to this show know I'm a huge proponent of creative redevelopments of malls and keeping them enclosed when it still makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Now I'm really going to be curious to see what happens next. What's the name of the mall, or have you thought about rebranding it or whatever? We
haven't came up with the for sure new brand of the mall. We're trying to make it fit with everything, because it's it's something that if it works, it's something that we're going to want to look at doing, being able to use our own anchor tenants and our own places and just kind of going and seeing what value we can create.
So it's currently called Myrtle Beach Mall. I had that in my notes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's Guy Fieri's Kitchen and Bar? Is that you guys too?
Yeah. Yeah. So we own and operate the one in Branson, Missouri.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a restaurant. We really opened that up before we opened downtown Flavortown.
Oh.
And we, it was a concept that we wanted to get used to. And so when we opened downtown Flavortown, we were already used to the dishes. We were used to a lot of the stuff and able to kind of go a lot quicker than we felt like it was a good testing ground for us.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I'm sure you learned a lot.
Oh yeah.
Doing.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I have a list. I made notes of all your different concepts and I didn't write down always what they are. So I'm like, wait, what is 7D Adventure Ride?
Yeah. So 7D is it's a set down ride that's got the 3D glasses and it's really theme park quality stuff. It's anywhere between 8 to 16 seats that we have. We have 3 of these right now in different markets. And it's really intense and it's a really good ride. I would put it up against rides that are in major parks. And the size of those is anywhere from less than 1,000 feet to like 2,000 feet. So it's a good filler spot, especially if we're already in the market, and in the development, like we can add on another 1,000 square feet and already have my management intact and just be able to add another revenue stream. It probably wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense just to do that alone, but it's a great add-on for us.
Wow, that's cool. How do you discover something like that? I imagine there must be conferences where vendors are selling these experiences, right? Is that where you find out about them?
Yeah. The big one that everybody talks about in our industry, and I've gone since I was a kid, it's called the IAPA, and it's in Orlando every year, and it's generally in November. They have everything there from full theme park rides to video machines to everything you could buy to the paper goods for the carnival places. I mean, everything you could imagine. And it's really a neat experience, but those are the top places that.
So if I ever want to create my own family entertainment center, I just go there, get a bunch of business cards, and I can be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. It's interesting. A lot of the stuff that we have can be bought off the shelf essentially. And that's the thing with a lot of these concepts. But my dad always says, you just can't put games in a room. It's about the experience. So everybody can go buy these things. It's about knowing how to position them, the sound quality, the lighting, all the little nuances. And so yeah, everybody can go and buy that, but it seems like such a simple concept, but there's really a very fine science behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds like you guys have cracked the code. So downtown Flavortown is on my to-do list now the next time I'm in Pigeon Forge. And I think I might have to swing. We're 7D. Is that in Pigeon Forge too? Yeah,
we have one in Pigeon Forge. So we can do both.
All right. I need to check it out. Bucky, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been really just cool conversation. I learned a lot in a quick time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. If you like this podcast, do me a favor. Go into the app that you're listening to and give us a rating, or even better, give us a little review. Write just a sentence about what you like about the show. You can subscribe to Where We Buy on the iPhone podcast app, on Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, or you can always find us on the web at wherewebuy.show. We also post a ton of cool videos and interviews on LinkedIn and YouTube. Video tours, interviews with folks that you won't hear on this audio podcast. You can check it out by going to the website everythingweknow.show. If you have a specific question about retail, shopping centers, or retail real estate, you can feel free to connect with me and send me a message on LinkedIn. You can find me by searching for James Cook, JLL. Our theme music is Run in the Night by the Good Lords under Creative Commons license.